situation with Dame Dash being forced to sell his music studio, his film streaming platform, and all this stuff for the actual suits that he got going on. Unpaid child support, New York State tax bill. He or a guy named Josh Weber, 823 million. Child support might have just got paid. No, 4 million to a person named Josh Weber. He said fucking words, and it all cost him $4 million. It's crazy. And that's what they saying. They sued him. He owed $4 million for that. 823 million to Weber, same guy, for a movie called Dear Frank. He did $8 million in unpaid taxes. That's like 12, 13 million he owe out right now. And that's just right away that they talking about. But the reality of it is he put himself in a situation. You got to be a little bit more moving smoother. And I'm going to tell you something. Everybody he owe is non-black. His baby mama is like Hindu or whatever they call them, Indian. All these Josh Weber people white. I think the Chris Brown, a lawyer, the only one that's probably black. You know what I'm saying? Because he got him on a defamation situation. So now he got to sell his assets. And you already understand what that means. When you got assets, it's something that you created and like a business, maybe your YouTube channel or maybe your whatever you did or some company you created. And so now if your name is on the ownership of that, as soon as you owe a creditor or somebody, they're going to take that thing and just pay them off of what you own. So if you own it, then now you got to use it to pay a debt. And so he owns these new ventures. And I have been thinking to myself, like, it's kind of dope that he could come up with new ventures and then kick them off. But the people that you owe, which are like 13 millions deep, how you going to pay that? How you going to pay that? Your system have to be so successful and making so much money at such a fast, quick rate that you can pay off this shit. Otherwise, you wasting your time. This Forgotten Kings, I be listening to bro. Yeah, that's another thing about it. If you don't pay this shit, if you don't have the money, they lock your ass up. But it's crazy. You know, all three of those things is going. You know what I mean? They say he paid his child support from his baby mamas and whatnot, but he still owed the money from these suits. And these suits is real suits because these people standing around, they got lawyers and they lawyers pop in and out like, hey, we need a payment. Hey, where's the money? Hey, they ain't gave us the money yet. And they not playing with you. They coming in there like the game owed money to this girl that he had got sued. She sued him for touching her some kind of way. And that was a $7 million suit. So that means what you own that $7 million or even close to that, his house. So they go to him and say, you gotta get his house up. You know what I'm saying? And Dame Dash got his own YouTube channel and his own streaming platform named American New, and it's successful. It's been got 100,000 motherfuckers already on it. You know what I'm saying? 190,000 on YouTube. But none of this shit is easy, man. When you get rich, this is a part of the game. And that's true too. The man been behind a whole bunch of shit that's been successful. And Jay-Z, number one, is the guy who really benefited from his intellect, his tenacity, his never give up mindset. But in order to get there, in order to become a mogul to that extent, $50 million up, making Jay-Z a name, putting Kanye West on, putting Lee Daniels on, building Rachel Royal Company. Like, he really was successful with helping people out. Now you look at it right now, and you go forward, and all these people hate him. None of these people fuck with him no more. And it's like, damn, well, they was basically opportunists, but you wouldn't know that. You thinking that you doing the right thing. But as soon as all of them got on and got to the point that they wanted to be at, they don't contact his ass no more. They ran off. And it's like, dang, what can you do? They wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? So now you stuck, you need money, you need another venture, you need somebody to throw you a damn link, and they ain't got shit for you. And it's really sad.
It's a different part of his career. You know what I mean? That you want to embrace and you want to continue to breathe or add more life to, in a sense, because the Rockefeller days are over. You know, and at the end of the day, this is his business. This is everything he has, his brand.
That's
So if he
true.
loses it, I mean, what else does he have? You know what I mean? But again, let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comment section below. But that being said, that's all I got for y'all today.
That's another point I wanted to make. I was just putting this poll up. Losing his streaming platform. That's crazy that he worked his ass off to build that shit, then let somebody come and take it. It's crazy, but you know, it's the game. You know what I mean? It's how it go. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a little bit more bossy. He is a smart ass boss. The guy is a fucking genius. But what his problem is that the way you come across with other people, that's going to be a dynamic that you got to be able to control. Because if other people come around you and they can't be around you cohesively, or you can't be around them cohesively, people be building up hostility, and they'll sit around you and benefit from your knowledge, they'll benefit from your connections, they'll benefit from what you got to offer, but then ultimately they hate you and they can't wait to stab at you and get some kind of get back. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that him having to lose these suits, you know, he was going in there having a movie deal, and they want to sue him for not promoting the movie correctly, or they want to sue him for saying certain things on different podcasts. That $8 million that he owed the government, that's just basically having a lot of money and not paying your goddamn fees. But being rich to that extent, how do you manage $50 million? How do you keep all of that together? What do you invest it? Do you don't invest it? How, you know, is it making taking chances on life? And, you know, maybe you living too opulent. Maybe you shouldn't be living in these homes, these cribs that cost so much money. Maybe you should own a property somewhere. Like, what is it that you do to make it right so that you don't go and lose everything that you own to some scenarios like this? Because everybody want to get rich, everybody trying to make it, and we all looked at Dame Dash, if nothing else, as a smart motherfucker, because he was able to build these brands out of nothing, and he was real smart because all the people who fucked with him became successful. Everybody who ever went business with him became rich. But then when you start going down, you start falling. Nobody's coming to your rescue, and then the question is why. But we've seen Dame Dash personality. He got a strong personality, and nobody can deny that. When I say a strong personality, I mean he's gonna talk his shit. He's gonna say what he gotta say, and if a person don't agree with it, then it's gonna be on them. And he don't mind confronting you. He don't mind saying what he gotta say if you white or black. And if people actually have power over you, they're gonna use that against you. They might even bring you around you to trigger you because you're thinking that, hey, I gotta just deal with them. These are new people. They don't even know me from those last environments or engagements. And now you come around somebody and they can't wait to trigger you, or they'll get you off your key. Or maybe you just got a really tough personality, so you'll snap off on a motherfucker in a minute. You'll let it fly. You don't give a fuck. So everybody got their thing about them, but now you in bed or you in business with other people, and then they get to decide. So now these people's decision about you is that you're aggressive, you angry, you can't nobody talk to you, they don't want to fuck with you. They'll set a scenario up. Now you getting sued. What am I getting sued for? I'm getting sued because of how these motherfuckers feel. They don't like me. They mad at me. You know what I'm saying? So now all your money get tied up in going to court because he got money. They say he made 22 million off of the deal he did with Rockefeller when they sold Rockaware. And you know Jay-Z obviously left the company and he took off. He made money from the sale of the company too, and they also had the clothing line. So he made money from both of these ventures that he had with Jay-Z. That's a lot of money coming in. You know what I'm saying? And he took that money and he invested it in whatever he was going to invest in. But ultimately, it wasn't good enough. These investments that he tried to put his money in wasn't successful. So he had clothing lines, he had motherfucking music, Game Dash music group, he had motherfucking, he was selling books, he had little Ross, he got a little Dusko child book goes to space. He also got to sell that too. He got to sell the streaming platform. He got to sell everything that he just built again. So when you think about somebody like Dame Dash, the question is, can he rebuild this? And that's really what it is, because after you sell these, they might be successful ventures. So he's not selling them and the people going to liquidate them. He's selling them and the people going to keep them activated. And they're going to keep making money until the money drain out altogether. So he'll be knocking down some of his debt. But I don't think he's Elvis Presley's or Tupac status, where he'll be making a lot of money from his ventures or those businesses. But at least he'll make some kind of money, because they're going to keep the streaming platform going. They're going to keep the motherfucking the music platform, anything he got going, the little child book, they're going to try to keep those things going so they can keep making money, so they can build up their money from that. You know what I'm saying? Because how else do you liquidate something other than selling it? So by keeping those businesses going, they'll still make money, and that'll still make him be able to take his debt down some. However, can he rebuild? And I believe a person like Dame Dash can, because of what he's already built. If you think about it, he's put some of the biggest artists in the world on. And when people act a certain way, you can't judge them. You you can't judge them by how you would act. We know that Dame Blige has a selfless personality. So if you around him and he got something that he can give to you that's gonna help you grow, he gonna give it to you. You can ask Cameron, Jim Jones, he gonna put them on. So it's not gonna take shit from him. He's not gonna feel like, damn, you got bigger than me. He just be like, boom, here, take, go run, go, go. And then people come up and they utilize his connection or his branding to put themselves in better situations. But when most people make it, and this is the history of music, the history of management, most people not finna fuck with you after they get on. They gonna turn their back on you, and they gonna be like, fuck you, and they gonna be like, I don't like you, and that's a part of the game. And now he got to foul. He got to have a sad face because he can't reach out to his homies and say, hey, hit me with $3 million. Let me pay this bill. I need $20 million. Let me pay this bill. They looking at him like, get the fuck. Now, your boy who you helped get on is a billionaire. $20 million is not even fucking a penny. That's nothing. Especially if this is your road dog, and especially if he know the type of dog you are, which means you will come up with a new one. Because think about it. If he sells these ventures, the streaming platform, the book, if he sells the clothing, what, he could come up with new shit. He could even, in the same areas, he could come up with a new streaming platform. He can come up with a new child book. These things are not hard. They come from your brain. And he's a self-made mindset guy, so it's not going to be hard for him to come up with a new venture to put it out to the world. And that really is a reflection of how Jay-Z and them are. Oh, okay, so bad. When you make it, I can't count on you. I can't call on you. Okay, you just an ain't shit person. Because when it came down to you needing a manager or somebody to be fighting on your behalf or being a selfless person behind you, I never did. I did it. Now you could look at that shit and say that was my job, but technically, I looked out for you. I did what I was supposed to do. But see, people ain't perfect, and you can't look at them about how you would be. So if they're ain't shit person, you can't say, well, damn, man, you so ain't shit. If it was me, it's not you, it's them. And in they regard, that's what they're gonna do. So now he gotta give all his shit up and pay all his money out and not be having his success that he thought he was gonna have. But again, the question is, can he bounce back? And when you're a hustler, when you're a getter, when you're a motherfucker that got no fear, when you're a motherfucker that got nothing that's gonna stop you, you don't feel like nobody could get in your way. Of course, Dame Dash gonna pop back, and it's gonna be funny to all of the haters who he ain't never don't want to fuck with him no more. Cause think about it, if he was with Jay-Z and he put Jay-Z in the game to that extent, then he met Kevin Hart. He put Kevin Hart in his movies. Boom. Then he had all Beanie Siegel and all of these guys. Then he had Kanye West. You talking about a handful of guys that's really brand name people in American structure. So whether they can help him now, maybe they even in a position to help him now, regardless of how that turn out, he can still get his own self out of his mess by just rebuilding his brand and rethinking the stories and coming up with a new motherfucking venture and a new venture and a new venture. And then next thing you know, he back in the game. So I believe wholeheartedly that he could really make money from this situation, because after you pay off the debt, now you back free. Now nobody can say nothing to you. And then you can build those debts by coming through businesses, because that's the only way you're going to pay off $8 million, $14 million anyway. You got to have a business. You got to have some kind of business that runs. For instance, the guy, the game, he got the girl suing him for $7 million. He had to give up his house. His house probably worth $4 million, $5 million, $3 million. That's a big dent in $7 million. So now that shit'll come down to $3 million you owe. That'll come down to 2.5. That'll come down to $4 million more that you owe. And now you can spend your money and pay that off. You know what I'm saying? Dame Dash looked like he owe about 14 million, 8 million to the government, 4 million to this Josh Weber guy, 800,000 to the Josh Weber. It's like he owe a little couple of fees. You know, he owe, I think he that Chris Brown lawyer guy, he owed some money. So these people been coming at him for those relationships he was in or how he been talking online. It's very, succinct how people come. So you got to say allegedly a lot of times for some of the stuff, whether it's true or not, you don't know. So I'll say it myself, allegedly, on every one of these components that I'm talking about. But this is how they get you. They watching you the whole time. You thinking you're not being seen, and they checking you out. Then as soon as you say the wrong thing, they run into a lawyer, and that's really where a lot of money go. So you would say, well, damn, how somebody go broke? If you get sued by 7 different people, then you got to get 7 different lawyers to go and do the due diligence behind representing your name. Each lawyer gonna have a retainer fee. Each lawyer gonna have a fee for discovery. Each lawyer gonna have a fee for doing investigation. So now you 3, 4 deep inside some lawyer pocket, and then you got 6 more suits to go, and then 5 more coming down the pipeline. So for instance, when they come with this guy Diddy, and they say he got 100 people civil sued him. Well, how the fuck you gonna defend 100 goddamn cases? You need a lawyer that's gonna be able to say you gotta compound all these motherfuckers in one big ass class action or something like that, because otherwise you'll be fighting till you're dead. You know what I'm saying? There would be no end to it. Because the richer you are, the more people gonna be popping up saying, yeah, hey, whether they was lying or not. You know what I'm saying? It'll have to cost you money. And remember, those lawyers tell those people it's free. You ain't got to pay nothing. You just standing here and come to court if I need you, sign this form, and I'm gonna get my money. And so it behooves you to not get in those situations, because if you rich like a Dame Dash, it's not too many lawyers gonna walk to you and say, I do it for free. Let's see how this turn out. No, they're gonna be like, you got to at least pay my retainer fee. You got to at least pay the money for discovery, and then we'll just negotiate the rest, because I'm not finna just give up my motherfucking time and effort thinking about your case if I got other cases to go with. So unless it's some shit that's gonna get my name recognized, like I could become a damn mayor or a governor or some shit like that, but dealing with this case, it's gonna cost money. You understand what I'm saying? So the free one's called pro bono, and they not doing a pro bono from no millionaires or no people who used to be millionaires. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna tell you you need to sell something, do what you need to do if you want to fight this case, or go talk to somebody else. So Dame is in a hole because of his intellect. Like, he's smart enough to build. He's smart enough to come up with things. He's smart enough to connect the right people and then put that shit out there. And a lot of guys who really have succeeded came through the Dame Dash rooms. Even that little rap kid, the bass guy, rap kid, the bass guy, he was connected to Dame Dash. I think that was him. I think it was Currency. I'm not gonna say the bass guy because I'm not sure about that kid. I think he's from LA or California. So, but I think it was Currency who was kicking it with Dame Dash or something fine. Wiz Khalifa, just different artists who had came around him. Cootie and Chike, the film directors, all of these guys had came around Dame Dash at some point. Even after the Jay-Z scenario, it's been 2 decades since he been rocking with Jay-Z. So that's 2004, and it's 2025. So that's 20 years. So yeah, he got a legacy back there, but he's rebuilt a new legacy, and that's the problem. That legacy can have you down a bad pipeline, because now they looking at him saying, you owe this money, you owe this money. What can he sell that can generate money at that extent? I remember when Dame Dash was younger and he was in the rap game heavy, and this is early on, so we all were still young with the idea of the promoter and the producer or the manager being actually seen in the rap game. So we was just used to rappers. So everybody was looking at Dame like, why don't you just rap? Like, why don't you just make a rap? So what the fuck is you doing? Like, you just popping up everywhere. He was like, I ain't a rapper. I ain't into it. So that, to me, is one of his demises, because that's what made us fuck with Jay-Z. So now we don't get to understand your psychological concepts of life. We just get to see you blinging. You got a jacket, you got a fucking plane, you got a car, you kicking it, you hot boy Johnny. That's cool. But we was able to understand Jay-Z's psychological concepts when he came from New York, what it was like, the J train, the Z train, what is Brooklyn, just the world that he created for us. So all Dame Dash really gave us was a world of opulence. He had money, he knew how to fly around, he had the pretty girls, he was dressing the right. Maybe it's a lane for that. But here we are with longevity. Now we're not talking about that summer, next summer, 3 summers later. We're talking about 20 fucking years into the future. So now new things have come about. Technology then kicked in. All this new shit that's happening with just so much stuff that you can't even name right now. If he had music out, that music would have transitioned over into motherfucking streaming. And there would have probably be somebody over in fucking Russia playing your fucking music nonstop, because they got the understanding of your concept of what the fuck it was like living in Harlem. We understood something was unique about him because he was hanging with Jay, and then we love Jay. So now, but this guy never put his own messaging out in music. So now today, where Jay-Z could sell thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of albums from having his music out in the 90s, Dame don't have that. If your music would have been from the 90s to now, you could have just been like, I'm going to sell these 14 songs. That ought to pay for that fucking bill. You know what I'm saying? Or it's something in that level. Or maybe you could just go to concerts or some shit like that today. Or maybe you open up a new record label and you got new artists from your cousins or your nephews, and you putting your understanding about rap behind them. So I ain't saying that he had to rap, but we understand now what rap is. It's a global phenomenon. Most rappers that continue to rap and be in the game decades, they're gonna get a standpoint and a level of fandom that won't go away. Like you got Nas coming out with an album with Premiere this year. You got Slick Rick dropping an album this year. These people was out when I was 21. I'm fucking 51. And so it's, what's that, 20, 30 years in the fucking future. And these guys still can make music. And then when they drop the album, they actually get to go on a fucking tour and still make music from that. So you traveling around, you're getting $10,000 a month or a week or whatever the fuck you're getting. And then boom, that's $100,000 a year. Easy money. You made your songs that you like, you travel here, now you off. You don't got to travel no more, bank account stack. This is because of the concept of what rap was. But you see now as a manager, we can all see now effectively with Dame Dash, as a manager, everybody turn their back on you. Everybody who get $25, they don't like you no more. Everybody who get richer than you or got better contracts than you hate you. Nobody fuck with you. You can't contact nobody. You can't be like, look, I'm in a debt. I need you. Hey, help me pay that last one. I appreciate that, but I'm in debt again. I need you. You got nobody. And imagine this, your boy a billionaire. I ain't say he got 100K. I ain't say he got 500 million. He's a fucking billionaire. Throwing $20 million is not going to kill him. But that relationship dynamic, whether they became friends, whether they hated each other, whether it was a competition between them, whatever it was, we wouldn't know that dynamic. Maybe it was over a girl. You know, some people say it was over a girl. It was over Aaliyah. It was over, you just wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? We not in a clique. But Jay-Z questioned, and when they asked him back then, because, you know, people be scared to talk to Jay-Z, you know, they got his dick in their mouth. So they asked Jay, what happened? Why you don't fuck with him? And he was like, I made a lot of money with him. That's it. You know, we made a lot of money together, and what else you want me to do? Like, because that's it. You got your 22 million, you got your 30 million. Friendship over. I'm over here now doing something else. And then the people who was his major fans, because we listen to his music, still latched on to Jay-Z to this day. No matter what he do, he has that fan base. But what the manager get, kicked in the ass, shitted on, nobody give a fuck about you. Actually want to see you demise, because it's really your genius that helped these people propel. But you don't have nothing to sell. You don't have anything that can put us fucking with you. So at the time when Jay-Z was the CEO of all those brands, like the clothing line, the record company, James Dash was the manager. He was really just like the face, or they hired him, if you will. We were gonna hire you as the CEO. So now you did the job, but now if they want to fire you, that's it. You're done. Get the fuck on. So what you gonna do now? You got to still try to find a way to make money. You still got to try to find a venture. And that's why these suits and all that shit come, because along with fandom comes negativity. So now people hate you. Just because you ain't running with Jay, they don't like you. Because you ain't kicking it with Jay and being his friend and at the nightclub with him, motherfuckers hate you. They like, fuck that nigga. You like, what the fuck? I got the nigga, so what? Y'all ain't even in our friendship. You don't even know what the fuck went down. But now people picking sides. Okay, look, you fucking with Jay or you fucking with Dame? Well, everybody gonna fuck with Jay because we already had the fandom locked into him. Every December he dropping an album. You know what I'm saying? He got the connection with the Beefs. He got the connection with the pretty girl Beyonce. We followed his trajectory. You know what I'm saying? But Dame, on the other hand, he wasn't even marrying black chicks. He marrying chicks that ain't even black. He marrying white girls. He marrying like foreign chicks. You know, man, that's his choice. But what's the connection? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a connect. It wasn't. So, and then these people break bad on him and shit. You looking at it like, well, what the hell you thought was gonna happen? Nigga, you married a girl that wasn't even black. The fuck is you talking about? But that what he was into, you know, maybe how he met her, I don't know his business. They say Jay-Z used to date her first. You don't know. I'm not in a clique, I wouldn't know. But my point about it is that you dating chicks that ain't 100% with you, and then it come back when she's suing him, not only for the kids, but for the business. It's crazy, man. It's like he just went, and it's almost like after Jay-Z situation with him, it turned into a curse. Just like Jay-Z said a long time ago, the gift and a curse. So you had a gift because y'all was able to make this music and it was able to propel you. But then it was a curse because as soon as you leave the brand or leave coming from around this guy, now you cursed forevermore. You don't get to have respect. You don't get to have legacy. Everybody hates you. They look at you like a fucking pariah. And it's like, what did you do? You gave all your soul. You did all this hard ass work. You fucking went hours and weeks. You spoke out when motherfuckers wouldn't speak out. Why the fuck do people hate me and have so much connection to old boy? But it's really nothing you can really gauge from that. You know what I'm saying? Like how is that like that? You know, what is this? You know, why can't he reach out to Kevin Hart and say, nigga, I put you in my first movie. Help me with this debt. Or why can't he say to Jay, all right, motherfucker, all that goof ass shit we did, whatever. You heard what the fuck they got going on over here. I need your ass. Where's all these people who you put your time in with to try to help build them up, and all the fuck they got for you is vitriolic understanding and hatred. And this is the future, because at that time you could think about the vulnerability of Kevin Hart walking into that room as a comic and never been in a movie and have a dream to want to get there one day. He gonna be humble. He gonna be relaxed. He gonna be chill. He can't see his future. He don't know the internet coming. So he just gonna be in this situation like whatever I gotta do, I'm gonna do it. This Dame Dash. So it effectively happened for him. But what about Jay-Z? Ain't nobody signing him. He wasn't getting no record deals. Nobody want to give him shit. But Dame was like, no, here's the plan. We're gonna all work this out like this. Bam, it worked. It started hitting. So people don't have like not respect, but they don't have like longevity with you. They looking at you as like a come up piece, and like jewelry. You know what I'm saying? If I fall off, I could just go get around Dame and shit, kick it with him. He still got a little credibility. People see my face by him. Boom, get the fuck away from that nigga and go over here and do my thing. And are they wrong for that? You know what I'm saying? Is people evil for that? For being like that? Being opportunistic? Not real friends? Or is it that Dame Dash personality is so over the top and so aggressive that motherfuckers just can't take it? They just be like, man, fuck this nigga, man. Anything happen to this nigga here, bitch. I can't stand that whole ass nigga, man. You heard what he said to me? When you saw how he was treated, you just would not know because we never been in those scenarios. But you don't really see too many people trying to jump Dame and beat him up over what he said. You know what I'm saying? He mostly seems like a guy who was reaching out for the best interest of our culture. You know, saying that these guys were culture vultures, or saying that, yo, why can't we build our own? Or even taking a step and making your own venture of a streaming platform. Like, where you see that at? You got fucking Disney with that, Paramount with that, Netflix with that, Tubi with that. Everybody got one. So what the hell would a black dude have one for? So he did. That's a. You don't even see Jay-Z in him with that. And you see 50 Cent came out with one later on down the line. And if you look at his platform, it's mostly white people movies on that platform. 50 Cent action. So it's just the way it went. Dame Dash took that step and made this venture. He took a stab in the dark just like he did back then, and that shit started bubbling. You notice that? It's swirling. It just started happening. Imagine getting 200,000 motherfuckers signed up paying monthly fee for that show, for that station. Now you can pay your bills. It'll be a payment plan, but they tripping on them because basically the lawyers are looking at it like it's not fast enough. We want our money now. So whatever the fuck he got in there, whatever it's worth, we want it today. Because obviously you can go in there and negotiate and say, okay, look, I'll get us a percentage. Every time it come in, y'all get this money like that. I'm gonna still keep advertising, still keep promoting the brand. But when you already being sued, the leverage is in their hand. Because as soon as they win, they could just be like, we want our money now. And if you can't pay them, then that becomes a situation where you might have to go to jail. So you saw when he came to court that one time the guy was suing him, but he was living in another state. He had to come to New York to show his face, and his child support situation kicked in. They arrested him as soon as he got downtown. As soon as he landed in the city, bam, tucking his ass right to jail. He had to pay $1 million just to secure his freedom to get out of jail. It's a lot of goddamn money. So the question is, why don't you just pay the damn $1 million to pay off the bills that you owe? But we not in a financial. Did he have to borrow that milli? Did he have to take that milli and not pay some bills? Like, what we know? We don't know their scenario. But he got out of jail behind that, and they took the money and paid off his child support. That's another thing. You owe this major amount of child support, and you're not even making that kind of money no more. But in certain states, they don't reverse it. They're not going to say, oh, shit, okay, you got fired over there? Okay, cool. Bring that shit down to $600 a month. They like, no, you live in a motherfucking 15-room apartment, motherfucker. You going to have to pay this. And you looking at this shit like, I can't pay it. You know what I'm saying? So again, what they doing to you in the courtroom, locking you up. Every time you go to these courtrooms, you got to have money for the lawyer every single time. So the lawyer is popping up to go talk for you. Whatever his fee is, you got to have that. So when you're talking about celebrity status, it's actually pain. Because how the fuck you going to keep up with this money? If anything happened to your legacy or your legend, you're done. You are fried. Yep. It do, and because especially it's that's true. Steve Stoner said he got brothers in a chokehold, and it really do because as you think that success is going to be your steps, you go and fuck with somebody that and they get mad at you. Imagine this: you on a movie set, And this is what happened to Dame Dash. That some people on the movie set start not liking what's going on. They're not liking you, or you having a beef with them some kind of way. And now they just basically go to court. Now Dame Dash claimed that they took the movie to another state. They were shooting it here, and then they took it to another state. And when they got to another state, they got a new director, blah, blah, blah. So he has his own component about what happened in that particular situation. However, he was found liable in the court, and they able to say he owed his money. But if he pays for appeal, that's costing money. So he could even say that, hey, I can't pay the fee because I got to pay for this appeal. Are they going to go for that? Because what if you lose the appeal? Now you spent more money, and they looking at you like, hey, you blowing our damn money for a case that you know you guilty in because you've been already fucking found guilty. Now you playing with our money. So now what you want to do? They want to set you in a jail cell, pop you off. Now he's sitting in jail for fucking, how you going to get the money if you locked up? You understand what I'm saying? But they don't give a fuck. So being in these situations is really a crazy situation for him, but I know that he built a legacy that's gonna stand tall. Now, why these guys ain't his homies? Is that a part of being millionaires? That as soon as you become a millionaire, it's like fuck everybody, ain't nobody getting none of this shit, or even a billionaire? Is that maybe that's a part of it? Like I got so rich, I don't get nobody shit. I don't give a fuck who you are. I hope God bless you, but you know what I'm saying. But is that what it is? Because they looking at this nigga Dane like he get nothing. Nobody got his back. Yeah, it's a cold business. That's a fact. They looking at him like he gets nothing, and even if and I think sometimes too it's jealousy, because if you see somebody like that. Imagine he been out kicked away from Jay-Z for 20 years, 2002 to now, 2004 to now. That's 20 damn years. He ain't been with Jay. So, and you still able to pull a venture off 20 years into the future. America knew when people start signing up and being a part of your new venture. This ain't got shit to do with rap. This ain't even got nothing to do with music. You just made a whole movie streaming platform. You do movies. You're in a movie making. So boom, you do this shit. So I believe he gonna easily be able to pay off these debts, because if you stick to your guns, stick to who you are. Forget the motherfuckers who shook it. Forget the motherfuckers who took off. Just stick to your guns, and you make another project. Just like old boy just made that movie called Sinners. This shit is a fucking global phenomenon. But imagine if he didn't make that movie. Imagine if he kept saying, I got to get hired for another film, man. What the fuck? They not hire me for another movie, man. What the fuck? He wasn't able to, he had to sit down. He had to go write a script, right? And that take time. Then he got a story together. Then he said, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and get my people together. All y'all who fuck with me, come shoot this movie with me. And they shot that bitch. Then he went to the white folks and said, look, we got something going. Hit us with some dough. They hit him with some dough. He made the movie official. They sold that shit to the world. So Dame could do the same damn thing. You already done shot movies and shit, paid in full. So much, man, when that movie came out, that shit was so motherfucking big, man. And I had one of my little hood movies when they put it on DVD, had just came out at that time, where you put movies from VHS to DVD. So that's my first DVD, was called South Chicago Uncut, where I would film my little hood. I'm from Chicago. And at that time, the guy who put my shit on DVD, he put Dame Dash movie, it was being bootlegged at that time. Well, not by me, but the guys who gave me my DVD was bootlegging it, and they put my movie on there with his. So when I got my film, which was going to be on DVD, I paid them to put it on DVD. Dame Dash movie was on there, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I actually was mad as hell. I'm like, man, you got this whole fucking movie planned before my shit come on. And he was like, nah, trust me. And Shorty, trust me, man, I got you, nigga. I'm like, this is the stupidest shit in the fucking world. I just paid your ass $400 to put my fucking DVD on DVD. And it gave me 100 copies. This is like 2002. So I was happy. Like, yeah, my shit on DVD. Geek the fuck up. And there was a fucking Dame Dash movie played the whole fucking movie. I was mad as a bitch. And this nigga like, man, just chill, sure. Look, I literally came to the crib and put the box in the corner like I'm not fucking touching that shit. I'm so fucking mad. And then eventually, over time I started selling it. Boy, that shit went so motherfucking street viral. I was like, what the fuck? Oh my God. But obviously the Dame Dash movie promoted it too, because it was their movie played first and my movie played second on this DVD at this time. This is years ago. And then it went so big, it was just like, my God, it was like a bootleg. So it really put that's why it was, been a long story short, that happened. So I remember how his movie in that time affected my shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this motherfucker is big, because he was so famous. You know what I'm saying? And I'm mad at these bootleg niggas. Like, why the fuck would you put his movie on first? What the fuck is this? I had to let them. And then at that time, you got to remember, this is so long ago. You couldn't fast forward DVDs, so you had to let that movie play. This is like an even more succinct point to that story. So you couldn't. The DVD recorders was new. So they wasn't fast forwarding. You just played the shit. You had to let that fucking movie play all the way before my movie came on. And it was big. I would go with people cribs randomly. They'd be like, nigga, I got your DVD. I got your DVD. I'm like, oh shit, straight up. I watched that shit. It was crazy. You know, it was, I was like 20 something at that time. But, you know, Dame had put a lot of effect and impact on the world, and he's done a lot. So I think that it's going to be easy for him to recover from paying off these people and getting that debt recovered. But you got to grind. It's a grind. And then, you know, he 55 years old now, 56, 54. So you're not like a youngster no more running around, jumping and, you know, doing everything. But, you know, the recovery come from your brain. Just by thinking this shit through, you'll be able to come up with a motherfucking story or something that'll capture the people's mind. And it might not be one story, because if you think about 50 Cent and them, they doing a series. They doing like BMF. They doing, like, I just heard he finna come out with an Asian movie series with these, like some gangster movie, but it's gonna be Asian people. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna hit. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I'm saying. You have to be thinking. You gotta be creative. And I'm the last nigga to tell Dame some shit like that, because he be popping up with businesses like over the top. You know he came up with a fucking Rockaware. You know he came out with all the motherfucking branding and shit that they had made back then. I mean, come on. Jay was rapping. He didn't have time to think of that shit. But he had the brand face. So they basically had made a baby Hollywood with inside their little group. You know, Jay was the brand ambassador, and Dame was the motherfucker cooking up the ideas. The thing that happened was, by Dame's admission, that Jay started getting to where he didn't want his name associated with them no more. He started trying to, you know, and this happened. He started evolving, started changing. So when Dame would come up with ideas, they would be a cold ass idea. Jay would be like, I'm not gonna fuck with that. And then he would come up and go connect with another white company that got the same kind of idea, and he'd brand up with them. So Dame sitting back like, what the fuck you doing? But this is Jay disconnected. So he would be like, okay, it's another deal with the shoes. We're gonna come up with our own shoes. Da, da, da. He like, yeah, bet. And then he go and do a deal with Reebok and something. What the fuck wrong with this nigga? So it's something that you can't control. When he started evolving, he started flipping, he started doing something different. He ain't really got your back like that. It's just a change up. But again, you ain't rap. You never did music. You never did nothing to build your own shit. And so that, it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? If Dane would have just, at that time, especially at that time when we all was looking at them, and it wasn't all of this social media shit, it was just them. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, when they dropped music, the whole, everybody listened. We was traveling from Chicago to New York playing that shit over and over and over, because this is, you know, the vibe at that time. But Dane was not on none of the records unless he was like saying some shit. And we was all like, why don't this nigga don't rap? But it wasn't who he was. Even Baby rapped. Even Baby rapped. Even though he was the CEO of all them niggas, he fucking rapped. He didn't sit back on the sideline like, y'all go. He fucking rapped. What? Master P, he even fucking rapped. All these niggas rapped. You know what I'm saying? So when Dame didn't do it, you can't force him. But just looking at that shit like, okay. Because this the niggas who fucking with Kendrick Lamar, they don't rap. You know what I'm saying? Even Whack 100, he was fucking with the game. He don't rap. It's just, you know, give and take. You know, some people did, some people didn't. You know what I'm saying? Suge Knight didn't rap. You know what I'm saying? Some, and many more. So, but you know, with Dame having such a connection to Jay-Z and them having like a powerhouse, because they was able to take over not just New York, they was able to take over Philadelphia. Then when they took over Philadelphia, they took over Chicago. They was basically sweeping them out. If they had kept going, it's hard for us because we all came from different cultures over in Africa, but we don't know what our tribes are. So we basically get around each other as black people here, but then the mitochondrial disconnect that we have kick back in. So now we'll have a quicker beef than another culture will have. We'll have a quicker information overload where we just can't fuck with each other, or our personalities are gonna clash. It's quicker because we don't even know like what tribes we was from in Africa. Nobody even know the names over here today. You can't talk to somebody and say, name me 3 tribes from Africa that we came from in West Africa. You may be like, man, get the fuck out of my damn face. But we all know the European countries, Paris, France, we all know that shit. You know what I'm saying? So my point about it is that we're not connected like that in America. We disconnected. So even though we could see something bubbling and growing and blowing, the motherfuckers within it, that's the black motherfuckers, they're not gonna be seeing eye to eye. We don't even see eye to eye in the neighborhoods we from. You know what I'm saying? We don't even see eye to eye about let's open a fucking restaurant or let's open a grocery store in our neighborhoods. We all walk like zombies to the liquor stores owned by every other culture and shit. We walk and need cigars. I need potato chips, you know, gas. We just live like that. So when you see somebody like them that was building something like that, it felt like it could be something better. But something happened where it crumbled. Even Wu Tang, it crumbled. Something stopped the guys that's black from keeping it going. Imagine this fictitious idea of Dame Dash and them being able to sweep around the 50 states and picking up the coldest rappers. It would still be going on today. It would be 20, 30 years into the future. They'll be over here saying, yeah, we just hit Virginia. We just made it to Virginia. We got these guys over here. They would have built a powerhouse that don't exist right now. But the idea is not to build a powerhouse. The idea is to go get a contract with white people so you can sit over there and act like you better than black people who where you from. So when when Jay Z understood that the biggest contract and the biggest money came from them, he didn't have no more build it mindset. His build it feelings fell off. It's like, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I can't. I'm tired. And it could be being around the wrong people. It could be the personalities clashing. Like I think at that time they was trying to make Cameron the vice president of Rockefeller, and Jay Z was on tour on vacation or something. He wasn't in the office, and then he come back and all this shit is unveiling around him. And it could be backstabby. It could be I told you not to do this. You could be like I just don't like this nigga. So it could be so many dynamics that make that be like you can't do me like this. Don't bring none of these motherfuckers around me. And I've been told you this. And plus you had did this last week. And plus, man, you spent this on that. It could be so many reasons why those dynamics can't be cohesive. You know what I'm saying? But you imagine if you got a 9 to 5 at a job and it's your 9 to 5, you're not gonna go in there and argue with them about what they spending money on. You're not gonna go in there and say, I'm tired of y'all overspending on all this shit in this office. You're gonna just do your job and you're gonna get the fuck up out of there. You might even be trying to retire from that place. But the last thing you're gonna go in there and do is ruffle feathers with everybody and say, hey, I've been here 7 years and I noticed that y'all be overspending in this area. I don't know what we need to talk. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Thompson, we need to talk about. You're not gonna ever do that. You'll live the rest of your life and none of that will ever be something you can think about. Because whatever the fuck they doing, it's happening and it's working. But again, when it comes to the black culture, it's like, hey, what the fuck they doing? Hey, man, they spending too much money over there, man. I get tired of him. I got to spend all this time here. They on vacation again. We're going to have a different dynamic mentally and socially. So those things, when they come around, they're going to crash faster. So you can see Dame Dash and them from 98 to 2004. No, 96 to 2004. So what that 6, 8 years, some shit like that. It's not like 20. It's not like 15. Imagine what 15 years of those guys building music empires, what it did. Imagine 10 years. They stopped early. Why? Because they came to jail and was like, you motherfuckers getting too big, but guess what you looking for? We know what you searching for already. You want money. You want power. So we'll give it to you. Because think about it. Jay turned his back on everybody at Rockefeller like Dame Dash was their father. Imagine that. Instead of all of them being individual men who came around as a group in like a fraternity, when as soon as Jay and Dame broke up, everybody else that was illegitimate kids, and he wasn't kicking it with Beanie. He wasn't kicking it with this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. All of those years and all those friendships that was built up, he took Kanye West with him just to drop his ass off. He said, okay, after a while, yeah, you said something foul about my family. Kanye, what the fuck this nigga talking about? He real social and a little mentally uncapped, so he go off. He every time he on the stage, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? And Jay get to sit back like, wiping his nails. Like, they gave me the money, I made the music, I put all you niggas together because it's really my company. It's really all of me. And now, what the fuck? I'm answering to you. I got to talk to you twice. Me and you having debates. I know what to do for you motherfuckers. All y'all get together and build a fucking brand. And him being the captain, it all failed. And this is another thing that showed that Dame Dash was not liked or not respected, because they would have just ran to him and been like, nigga, you the leader. Come on, what we need to do next? Fuck them. Fuck what happened over there. What do we need to do next? You the leader. Okay, I'm gonna put this shit behind me. I'll be the next Jay-Z. But instead, because they all men from all different tribal cultures from back home in Africa, and everybody can't, so they're from different states here in America, different neighborhoods here in the cities. So it's like we can't see eye to eye. If he ain't the captain, then there's no ship. If he not the leader, then there's no route. I don't want to go on no fucking route with you. You can't lead me. You know what I'm saying? So Dame Dash just sitting back again, not being a rapper, only a businessman. He got to jump into a different realm because he can't do music. He's basically gonna be mud. And everybody he touched and tried to fuck with after that, then nobody rocked with him. Nobody rocked with his artist. Whoever Dame Dash was saying was his next artist, motherfucker looked over there and was like, oh, hell no. Nobody was like, who? Okay, Dame got a motherfucker. But when Jay-Z said he had a new motherfucker, the whole country paid attention. Rick Ross, every day I'm hustling. It's like, hell yeah. But he said he had a new artist. It was Umbrella, oh, by Rihanna. Oh my God. The world turned. Motherfucker say he had a new artist. Young Jeezy. Yeah, boy, we was in the crib, Thug Motivation, going crazy. You couldn't believe it. You couldn't fucking believe how big this music was. But everybody talked to Dame, and it's like, who? No, he ain't no shit. Because everybody else left. Because everybody else left. Chris and Neef, the motherfucking Petey Crack, motherfucking Freeway, everybody, they got the fuck up out of there. And even though Jay-Z was not fucking with them, he didn't even give them respect. He didn't even come back and fuck with them and say, man, look, we had these cold ass songs, let's do concerts. He said, nah, that shit's over with, goodbye. I'm not blaming Jay because he his own man. He get to decide and go. If Jay wasn't the rapper, none of that shit would happen. Because obviously Dame Dash still didn't rap. You see how he had no leverage. You have nothing to stand on. Jay-Z is the reason we was paying attention. So now we paid attention, and here you go. You want to pop out here and still have the same lifestyle or even close to the same lifestyle, it's delusional. Because you never did give us your story. Your story is, I get rich, I get money, I kick with ballers. Okay, cool. Now what? Nothing else. He ain't got no more message. So now he get to fall by the wayside, and everybody looking at him like you a has-been. And he didn't even have nothing to has-been on. Because think about it, he never made music. He made movies. And then when he ventured over into doing it full throttle, 20 years later, it started succeeding. Okay, now he got this American new streaming platform. It's going to be a black platform owned by black people that you can actually watch black content on. No. His debts that he owed is so big that if he put anything in the ethos, they want it. They want it. But he just got to, I would triple up and double up. So if they took one, then we're going to start 3 next time. If they took 2, then we're going to start 5 next time. Different brands, different companies. Because if they start bubbling, you'll pay the shit off faster. That's really what this shit is all about. It's about money. And you can't go count on your people. You can't hit the phone numbers because of the relationship dynamics be so fucked up. You can't hit them up and be like, look, nigga, all that shit over with. I need you this time. Looking at your ass like, oh, this nigga fucked up? Good. Click. You know what I'm saying? The relationships is so bad. You know what I'm saying? We all know that they was together and they had friendships and connections. But whatever happened in those little, and we got friendships and connections in our own lives, and it'd be little intricate shit that went down or happened, and you just be all hands off from that point on. Like, I just don't fuck around no more. I'm on a whole nother realm. And whether it could be fixed or not, it's just not worth it. You're not even gonna take your time. And especially if you're somebody like Jay-Z with a fucking $1 billion, what the fuck you even talking to somebody who don't like you for? It don't matter how long it was before you start liking me again. Nigga, I got $1 billion. I don't even talk to people. You know what I'm saying? So ain't gonna be no rebuilding from his boys. Ain't gonna be nobody he could touch up with and get a motherfucking connect. So you gotta use your brain. You gotta go back to just like building the motherfucking Rockefeller and building motherfucking Rockaware and coming up with this motherfucking streaming platform and Rachel Roy clothing line and all these things that Dame did and putting motherfucking guys on. Like, I would do that. I would go to the internet and I get all the little young guys, not the ones that's on, not the ones that's popping, you know, because this comedy dudes that's popping right now. I wouldn't even fuck with them. I go a level or 2 down. Motherfuckers who just as funny, but they ain't got no love. And I grab them and put them in my joint, and we'll just come up with this shit, let them put as much input as they can, especially if they like in my city or something like that. And because he got a big name still. It don't matter what they saying. He still got a heavy ass name in the industry. So if he fuck around and get some movie going, maybe some weed story or some funny little movie idea that they can come up with, maybe make it a series, you kick your new streaming platform off right there. And now you got something going. Boom. One of these companies will come grab that shit so fast, like, damn, you got all these comedians standing. Like, that's what happened with Russell Simmons. He came up with not Def Comedy Jam, he came up with Def Digital. And that shit started bubbling quick because he was smart. He knew the comedy shit was gonna be what's popping online. So he threw all that shit together. They started roasting each other, going crazy on Def Digital. And then white people said, yeah, you raped these chicks. What the fuck? He got the fuck out of town quick as hell because he don't want that shit to come down bad on his back. But that's him using his brain. So they had to dismantle Def Digital because he had a bad name. But you understand what I'm saying about coming up with something out your own brain, putting it out to the world, and it catch. Yeah, it caught fire, and he made money, but he had to cancel it because he had the bad name brand. But that's all Dame got to do. Just come up with some shit, put that shit in the world, and that shit'll catch fire. So that's all I got on this motherfucking show right now. I'm gonna hit y'all up another one. We're gonna talk about some new shit in a minute. All right, peace, and thanks. Like, subscribe.